understanding flame rectification and how to test. My name's Alan Hart, and today I'm at the National Gas Centre for Excellence in Featherstone, and I've got Michael here, who is the trainer, and we're going to look at flame rectification. We're going to look at it on a combi boiler. Michael's also going to draw it on the board and explain that to you. We're also going to look at the rig, where if you're going to come and do your ACS gas training, he's going to show you the rig, so hopefully that'll help you when you do controls on your faults on rig. So yeah, I hope this video will be of some use to you. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments below. We've got lots and lots more videos coming. If you've got any ideas for videos that you want us to do, then again, please put a comment below. And as always, if you could put a thumbs up, really appreciate that. Let's go over to Michael.
Thank you, Alan. So today we're going to talk about flame rectification. We've all been to boiler faults that have been showing flame failure, ionisation faults. A potential cause of that is flame rectification. Flame rectification is a type of flame supervision device, and ultimately we're going to talk about it on the board. Then we're going to go across to a sabre rig where we can show it in more detail, and then lastly we're going to show it on a Worcester 30i to show a real life scenario where we can test first of all the DC current travelling through the flame, and also the microamps travelling through the flame to give us an indication of how strong the flame is. So everyone's aware of the main circuit from a PCB, you know, the circuit that ignites your gas, provides your spark to your spark electrodes. But the lesser known circuit from the PCB is the PCB sending an AC current, sorry, an AC voltage to the rectification probe. Now, this flame, if you look at the PCB, and then we look at the burner, we have what we call a rectification probe. Now, when we start igniting the burner, this rectification probe has roughly 100 volts AC current. So we have 100 volts AC. When the flame establishes and engulfs the probe, that voltage rectifies through the flame and travels back to the board as DC current. So in travelling through the flame, it travels back via the earth lead usually, or a ground lead, back to the PCB as DC current. That board is always looking for DC current. So if we were to bridge it out with some form of metal, the board would receive AC current back, and it'd know there's not a flame. The only way that we can establish DC current back at the board is via the flame rectifying the AC current and changing it to DC. So if we imagine that the voltage here, its sole purpose, all it wants to do is go back to the board. That's all it wants to do. And when it gets back to the board as DC current, we know that there's a flame there. If for whatever reason the board loses the DC current, then we know that there's an issue. Either the flame's not established, the flame's extinguished, or there's a break somewhere and the circuit's lost its continuous loop. So now we've looked at the theory of it on a board, let's go look at it on a sabre rig and see if we can have a look at it in more detail. So here we've got a sabre rig. We have PCB, main burner, spark electrodes, and then at the side here we have a rectification probe with the rectification lead travelling back to the board, and an earth wire that we use as a conductor to take the current back. So when we turn this igniter on, what will happen is the 100 volts roughly AC current will be present at the flame rectification probe. The burner will light. The voltage will travel through the flame, converting itself to DC current, and will travel back to the board via the green wire here. Now, this process is instantaneous, and you'll notice that as soon as the flame's established, the ignition probes will stop sparking, because the board's already sensed that there's DC current there instantly, and it'll just stop trying to ignite because it knows there's a flame present. So let's have a look at it in operation. Fan's purging, trying to ignite. It lights and instantly stops trying to ignite, and now we've got a burner-up light on the board, identifying that there's a flame sensed, there's a flame established because there's DC current back at the board. If I was to disconnect the flame rectification probe and break the circuit, what we'll notice now is that the flame will light, but the board won't receive DC current and it will continue trying to ignite because it doesn't know that there's a flame present. See, it's still trying to ignite. That's because the board isn't receiving DC current back. There's no way of the AC current present at the rectification probe getting back to the board. So therefore it goes to lockout. Well, it goes to a failed ignition sequence, and it'll try that 5 times before eventually going out to lockout. So what we're going to do now, just to prove the theory, is we're going to attach a multimeter in series, and we're going to measure both the DC current travelling through the flame, and we're also going to measure the microamps. Now, so what we've done now is we've connected our multimeter in series. So what that means is we've used a crocodile clip on one of the probes, and we've connected that to the bottom of the rectification probe. And we've also connected our red cable to the rectification lead. So all we've done is basically linked out the rectification probe and the lead. And what this is going to do is it's going to measure the voltage in DC going back to the board. So let's try it on. Fan's purging, goes through its ignition sequence, and it's ignited. And now what we've got is a readable 35 volts DC current travelling back to the board. Now that's an indication that the flame's present and that the voltage AC is rectified through the flame, and that's how now the board knows that a flame has been established. The other way we can test is we can test with microamps. So if I change that to microamps, we're getting a reading of 8.8 microamps. Again, that's DC current. And what that is, again, an indication of is the strength of the flame, how well the flow of ions through the flame is being conducted back through the circuit. Now we've done that, let's go and have a look at a Worcester 30i, and we'll see how we can use this test in a real world situation, in a real test. So we've arrived at Mrs. Smith's house. She's got a Worcester 30i ERP. Over the last 10 years, there's been more of this boiler installed than any other boiler. So the chances are you are likely to come across this fault on this boiler at some point. It's presenting us with an EA fault or an FA fault. So Mrs. Smith's called you, you've come out, you've gone through the process of establishing that the gas valve's okay, the spark generator's okay, you've checked the condensate trap, you've identified that that's clear, it's not causing the fault. So we suspect we've got a rectification issue. So what we're going to do is, exactly the same way we did with the Sabre rig, we're going to link out between the rectification probe and the lead with the multimeter and put it in series, and we're going to try and read what DC current we've got coming back. Hopefully we've got a healthy DC reading coming back and we'll know that we've got a flame established. So let's try that. Set the multimeter to volts DC, and we'll turn our boiler on. So that's lit, and straight away we can see we've got 63 volts DC current travelling back. So that would indicate that we've got a healthy flame, the flame's established and the board is reading it. So if for whatever reason we were to turn the gas off, we've now lost the voltage DC, and the board has recognised that, and it's gone now to a fault. So another way we can test this is by using, again, the microamp setting on our multimeter. The microamp setting is an indication of the strength of the flame. It will do a lot, much like what the DC voltage signal will tell us. It tells us that we've got a strong flame, that the rectification probe isn't suttered up, it hasn't got carbon build-up on it, and also tells us that we've got, that it's making good contact with the flame, so that it's being completely engulfed by the flame and making that connection. If for whatever reason we were to have a low reading, that would indicate that for some reason the flame's finding it difficult to conduct the voltage AC and convert it through to DC. That could be that it's a vitiated flame, it's a poor flame. It could be that someone set the minimum setting wrong on the gas valve. So when it's modulating down, it's losing the ability to conduct that voltage DC and convert the voltage through the flame. Other things we need to look out for with rectification probes, that there's no breaks in them. And also it could be that you've got an issue with the board, so the board might be receiving it but it's just not registering that the voltage is coming back as DC. The microamp setting, again, I find it really useful, but not all multimeters have it. So let's see what ampage we get if we turn the boiler on. So we can see on the microamp setting, we've set it at max. It's registering 27 volt microamps at the minute. As the boiler ramps up into max mode, or high fire if you like, you'll see it'll gradually climb. And in the same way as if we put it into minimum afterwards, we'll see the microamps reading come down. So now we're at 32 microamps. If I now change it to the minimum setting, it's modulating down, 31.4, 30 amps, microamps, sorry, 29, 28, 27, 26. So again, if somebody set the minimum setting wrong on the boiler, we might lose the ability to record that microampage through the flame, which would then could lead to a potential ionisation fault. So it's important that we test in max and min to make sure that we get what we need, what we should have receive at the board. So it's important to note as well that not all manufacturers will have the same readings. So very rarely does a manual or an instruction manual give you the readings of what you should be receiving in either microamps or voltage DC. You would have to refer to a technical department for these readings, or if you've been on manufacturers training days, they normally give you that kind of information. But again, it's not manufacturer specific, it can be appliance or boiler specific as well. So get the information you need, check your readings that you're getting against that. In most cases, if you've got an ionisation fault from the start, it's due to the fact that there's an issue with the burner igniting. If you've got an intermittent fault that's happening further on in the sequence, or while the boiler is operating, that's generally down to maybe an air-gas ratio fault. It could be that the minimum setting is wrong. It could be that you've got a vitiated flame and it's finding it difficult to conduct the voltage through the flame. A multitude of things. But yeah, so that's all from me. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the video and took something from it.
Thank you very much for that, Michael. If you've got any questions, please put them in comments below. And as always, as I've said already, if you could put a thumbs up, I really appreciate that. It really does help with the videos. We will be doing many more videos here. I will be here now. I will be helping with some of the new trainees that are coming into the industry. So we're going to set some boilers up. I'm going to do some training, and yeah, I'm going to try and do a bit of training. Yeah, as I say, if you've got any questions, please put them in comments below. Thanks for watching.